Hey Estelle, ça va?
Oui, ça va. Et toi?
Bien, merci. So, Estelle, do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Paul?
It's time to talk about time.
Right. And to ask what time is it in French, what will we need to say?
We could say, il est quelle heure?
Yes. Il est quelle heure?
Let's take a closer look at this question. Il est quelle heure literally translates to, it is what time?
That's right. You may know that il means he.
But il can also mean it.
Yup. So il est in il est quelle heure means it is. Il est.
Il est. And then we have quelle, which means what? Quelle. Il est quelle.
And last we have heure, which means hour or time. Heure. Il est quelle heure?
The sound in heure is similar to the sound in the English word purse. Purse. Heure.
Heure. Il est quelle heure?
Il est quelle heure? Ready to try it yourself? Repeat after me. Heure.
Okay, we'll turn off grading for now, but you can still follow along.
Quelle heure? Il est quelle heure? So to answer a question like il est quelle heure, we can say il est and then the time. For example, if it's 10 o'clock, we'd say il est 10 heures.
Oui. Heure is like o'clock, but unlike in English, we can't just say it is 10.
Right. We'll always need to add heure at the end. Il est 10 heures.
Philippe, il est quelle heure?
Il est 10 heures.
And what if we need to say that it's another time, like 2 o'clock?
Well, 2 is deux. So we'll need to say il est 2 heures.
Il est 2 heures. And it's similar if it's 3 o'clock or 3 heures. You'd say il est 3 heures.
Il est 3 heures.
And notice the liaison between the number and the word heure.
Yes. 10 heures. 2 heures. 3 heures.
Ready to practice it? Repeat after me. 10 heures. Il est 10 heures. Now let's talk about my favorite time of the day, dinner time. How do I say it is 6 o'clock?
Well, we'll need to use the number 6, which in French is six.
Yes, it sounds a lot like the word dix, which we already know is 10. Dix, six.
Six. So to say it is 6 o'clock, it's il est 6 heures.
Did you pick up on that liaison again? Notice the difference between the number six by itself and six when it comes before heure. Six, 6 heures.
6. 6 heures.
Let's try this one too. Repeat after me. Six. Six heures. Il est 6 heures. Let's learn one more number. How about 7?
7 is 7. Il est 7 heures.
7. Il est 7 heures. Now let's listen to our French speakers again. This time, listen closely and see if you can tell what time it is.
Il est quelle heure?
Il est 7 heures. Excusez-moi, il est quelle heure?
Il est 6 heures.
Merci.
Amazing. In the next lesson, we'll talk more about telling time.
So, in the last lesson, we learned how to ask an important question.
Il est quelle heure?
And we also learned how to answer that question.
For example, il est 6 heures. It's 6 o'clock.
But let's say instead of wanting to know what time it is right now, you wanted to know what time something is happening, like a flight or a movie.
Right. Well, if you wanted to ask about a flight, you would say, à quelle heure est le vol? Which literally means, at what time is the flight?
À quelle heure est le vol?
Oui. And you know how we've been talking about seeing that new superhero movie tonight? If I wanted to ask in French, what time is the movie? I'd say, à quelle heure est le film?
Le film means the movie. À quelle heure est le film?
Let's hear the difference between the questions one more time. If I want to know what time it is, I'd say, il est quelle heure?
And if I want to know what time is the movie, I'd say, à quelle heure est le film? Now, are you ready to try? Repeat after me. À quelle heure? À quelle heure est le film?
Now, to answer that question, you use à and then the time. For example, à 6 heures means at 6 o'clock, and à 7 heures means at 7 o'clock.
Oui. So, what time is that movie we're going to see tonight, Estelle? À quelle heure est le film?
Le film est à 7 heures. The movie's at 7 o'clock.
Right, let's hear this in a conversation.
Philippe, il est quelle heure?
Il est 7 heures.
Et à quelle heure est le film?
Le film est à 7 heures.
Wait a minute. If it's 7 and the movie starts at 7, shouldn't he get going?
Good question. It must be 7 in the morning, and the movie's at 7 in the evening. It would have been clearer if he had said the time of day, like it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Il est 7 heures du matin.
Yes, il est 7 heures du matin. Matin means morning, so du matin means in the morning.
Matin. Du matin.
We've already seen du used with places, like in l'entrée du musée and l'entrée du restaurant.
But du can also be used to talk about time, like in 7 heures du matin.
Du matin. 7 heures du matin.
Now it's your turn to practice. Repeat after me. Matin. Du matin. Le film est à 7 heures du matin. And to say something is in the evening, you use du soir. Soir means evening, which you might remember from bonsoir or good evening. Soir. Du soir.
Soir. Du soir.
Le film est à 7 heures du soir.
Or, le vol est à 6 heures du soir.
Let's try it. Repeat after me. Soir. Du soir. Le vol est à 7 heures du soir. Now let's listen to that dialogue again. This time it should hopefully make more sense since Philippe is using du matin and du soir.
Philippe, il est quelle heure?
Il est 7 heures du matin.
À quelle heure est le film?
À 7 heures du soir.
Oof, looks like they've got plenty of time to get to that movie.
Now we know how to say what time it is and what time something is going to happen. That's enough to start making some plans. Du matin or du soir.
Speaking of which, look at the time. Il est 7 heures. We'd better hurry if we're going to catch that movie.
Let's get out of here.
Salut Estelle. Il est quelle heure?
Salut, Paul. It's time for you to practice telling time, like these French friends.
Bonjour Philippe, À quelle heure est le film?
Le film est à 7 heures du soir.
Il est quelle heure?
Oh, il est 7 heures.
Today, you're doing something even more fun than going to the movies. You're going on vacation.
Imagine that you're leaving for a big summer trip today. You've just started packing when you hear a knock at the door. It's your good friend, Thomas. You've agreed to grab breakfast together before you leave. Say hi, Thomas, in French. Très bien. Salut, Thomas.
Thomas says hi back and then asks a question about your trip.
Salut, à quelle heure est le vol?
Tell him the flight is at 7 o'clock in French. Excellent. Le vol est à 7 heures.
Thomas looks confused and asks another question.
Il est quelle heure?
Tell him it's 7 o'clock in French. Super, il est 7 heures.
Le vol est à 7 heures du matin?
Thomas is probably confused because you forgot to tell him that the flight is at 7 in the evening, not the morning.
Tell Thomas, no, the flight is at 7 in the evening. Parfait. Non, le vol est à 7 heures du soir.
Now that Thomas knows you have plenty of time for breakfast, he can relax. You have a great time talking about the restaurants and museums you want to visit during your vacation, and all the delicious cheese you want to try.
When it's time for him to go, he says goodbye and wishes you a good trip.
Au revoir. Bon voyage.
Say bye, Thomas. Très bien. Au revoir, Thomas.
Have fun on your vacation and enjoy that cheese.
Oui, bonnes vacances.